Welcome back to the Terminator Captain painting series. In this one, we're going to concentrate on how to paint all the scroll work and purity seals. So take a second to just see how many there are. We're also going to do this scroll work on his shoulder pad. Just take a second to find all of them, identify them. We're not going to do the chest piece, we're going to do that slightly different colour. And we'll bounce straight into it. This one, we're going to use Xandri Dust, Screaming Skull, Snakebite Leather, Dark Angel's Green, and Warpstone Glow. We're going to start by using Xandri Dust. Base paint, use the back of the thumbnail. Give like a little stickier than I'd like. Thin it a little bit more. We'll go get miniature. We're going to leave the miniature fully assembled for this one. And we're just going to paint up to the edges of everything. We're not going to leave any recesses. That's what the snakebite leather is going to be for. Make sure to get the edges, because chances are they'll be blue. Careful on his tabard scroll. Loincloth scroll. Don't get any of the brass work we've already done. Now, infuriatingly, just seen the end of the edge of the scroll is actually weighted down. So at some point between now and the next video, that will be miraculously painted gold or brass. So don't worry about that. I have seen it. I haven't got very good coverage on this, even though it's a base paint. So this will be another 2-coat job. And just because you don't see it, doesn't mean I haven't done it. Be super careful here to not go onto the blue. Now for a character model, this guy doesn't actually have many. There are some Space Marine models, and the Black Templar ones especially, are absolutely festooned with these. So it's a good skill to get in early. Well, that's one layer done. I'm going to thoroughly dry this off and apply 2 to 3 more layers. So when the video jumps back in, that's what you'll see. And inevitably, I've missed a bit. So guess what I'm going to have to do now? With 2 layers of Xandri Dust, you mainly should look a lot like that. It's a very opaque paint. It's exactly what we want. This time, I made sure I got all of them. Next, we'll shade them. So I've taken a tiny amount of snakebite leather. I don't need much on there. Again, little flow test. That's fine. I'm going to do a recess wash. I'm not going to throw this all over. So what I'm going to aim for is the space between the 2 bits of paper. Just that will give it depth, just where the scroll meets the armor. That looks good. I'm also just going to do a tiny little amount. All the prominent folds, even sharp on this camera, we're going to accentuate them even further. The tiniest amount running underneath them. So, and I'm going to repeat that on all the scroll work on the miniature. Be a little bit more careful on this one. The scroll work isn't nearly as well defined. And that is our pin wash or recess wash complete. Next step is some Screaming Skull. When you use the Screaming Skull, again, layer paint, thin it down with water, use the back of your fingernail, thumbnail. Make sure it's got a good flow and a good coverage. Even coverage, I should say. Not better coverage, even coverage. What we're going to do is we're going to pick out where the dark area we pin washed and the normal Xandri Dust meet, like so. and just accentuate those shadows even more. Like so. I'm also going to pick out any other raised areas, so I can see one here that should be lighter colour. And that looks pretty good. I wanted to find the edges though, because there's lots of little cracks on the edges which we couldn't get any snakebite leather into. So let's pick those out too. There's a little crack going into the paperwork there. There's a little raised area here. Cool. I'm going to carry on that effect throughout the whole miniature. When it comes to this scroll on the shoulder pad, we're going to do anything slightly different. So I'm going to still block out the edges. Okay. Whenever you're doing highlighting, especially if you're doing a hard edge, try and make it one smooth movement. So touch, just drag it out, like so. That will look better than lots of little attempts to do it. I'm going to add in, going to try and make it look cracked just by doing some little lines across it, like so. So adds a bit of character. And that's the scroll work done. It's quite a faded vellum look rather than bleached copier paper. So the next one we're going to do is, where are they? There we are. The wax sort of attachment. So you can use any colour you want to paint these, but stick to the primary one. So green and red are the most prominent. I don't want to use red because we've already used a prominent red on the cape. It might bleach in, make it look weird. I also want to keep the cool colour tone at the front. So I'm going to use Dark Angel's green. I'm going to completely cover that wax purity seal. You may not even notice it over the blue, but it is there. There's another one. To highlight, I'm using Warpstone Glow. We're just doing that test again. I think that's got some good, even coverage. Then we'll dive onto the miniature. So all the wax purity seals, they sort of follow the same rule. They have a something in the center, skull, Imperial Eagle, and a solid outer line. So we're going to paint that solid outer line first, like so. And then the blobby bit in the middle, I think this one is a skull. We're just going to paint it. We're not going to try and pick out any details. I think it looks just as good from a distance. Repeat that on the other two. There he is. That's the last one down there. Now, by all means, you can spend as long as you like. This one's blank. You can put anything you want in that tiny little space. And in my opinion, that's the difference between tabletop painting and competition painting, is those little areas where all the difference. So you can take that up to almost a bright yellow to highlight it. And that's where you're going to start winning competitions. But for the sake of this, that's as far as we're going to go. So that's all the scroll work and the purity seals done. It's a nice simple one. I'm on 20 minutes taken so far, including drying time. And let's see what the finished video comes in at. Well, have fun with that one. That's a very short and easy one. This guy's got quite a bit of scroll work, but not so many wax purity seals. And yeah, if you do Black Templars, you'll have to get used to doing this. I like a nice high contrast on the parchment. You can go for white if you want instead, because it'll look starker. Well, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one.